And here we go. This is it. In 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to There Will Be Dungeons, brought to you in part by our good friends at PhoenixPearlTea.com, or you can head on over to PhoenixPearlTea.com/TWBD and look at our branded teas. They're all about stuff we've done in our campaigns, and they're great. I'm a big fan of all the matcha teas. If you've never heard of those, by gum, get yourself some, because it's real good. That's over at PhoenixPearlTea.com. We have an adventure to get to today, so let's waste no time getting there. We throw it over to Kristen, who will recap us from the last time we played There Will Be Dungeons.
Last time on There Will Be Dungeons, the docked dispatch drove to its destination, Elhandar. A brief boarding beam confirmed them clean of contaminants. All seemed simple until Angelashi notified Nash of her leaking liquid. The kid was coming! Dr. Lyriel moved them to the medbay, but curious commotion called to Stanley and Varel, careening them to the cockpit. Sudden rumbles rocked the ship. A pallid pirate party hailed their hall, threatening a throwdown. No sooner had they suffered the threat than jolts jostled them. Great gashes in the ship sucked out frightened Faye. Lyriel, busy with the burgeoning baby, barricaded her bay while Stanley and Varel dug in for a dramatic defense. Pirates poured in alongside a toothed, tentacled terror tagged Fluffy. Stanley started stabbing the pale pirates as Varel handled the horror. It gnashed and gnawed and dared to derange the large lizard, but Varel was able to avoid the attempted assault. Meanwhile, in the medbay, Angelashi, Nash, and Lyriel counted contractions. While one was assumed, a baby that is, it was perplexingly published that a diverse delivery would welcome to the world 4 unique units: a fork, a pipe, a baby, and a boot. The fight forged on. The foes were falling to the deadly dances of diplomacy, but then Varel met mental mangle, ordering him into a maw as the cruel cruiser's captain began boarding. Stanley ran to the rescue, killing the creature and preparing for parting. As Varel grappled the gruesome group back into their boarding boat, Stanley snatched the lizard to safety as the ship sheared away, ejecting elves and enemies into the expanse of space. The quiet after combat was concluded with crying. Nash was now a father to 4 chubby changelings, and the reveal that he was more than a mere human. He, too, was a changeling. Now rejoin our heroes as they make their break for Elhandar. What will Nash name his newborns? Can Varel come to connect with such a peaceful people? And what will Stanley hear about his heritage? Stay tuned for today's adventure within the sacred halls and green walls of Elhandar.
All right, Bo. That swell in the music can only mean it's your turn.
Thank you, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Stanley Billings and Varel Rasvium Kurik find themselves aboard this alien vessel belonging to the Elhandari after having just completed combat and can finally relax their body from the stress that they put them through during fighting. No sooner than the second passes that you can hear the voice of Captain Tosalt emerge from the screen in the bridge area. You hear, "Arr! That ain't the last of what I got, planet lovers." You're in the mess hall. You hear that drift in from the hallway.
Oh, great. Seems we still have to deal with this. Stanley will pick himself up and start making his way to the bridge.
All right.
Wait, I'm coming too, and I'll follow him.
You're not in this room.
Oh, where am I?
You are hugging your wife.
Oh, and we still have big barrels in front of the thing, right?
Yeah, you're also blocked in with blast doors and fire extinguishers.
All right. Well, Stanley knows in his heart that Nash would be right behind him if he was there.
I will follow.
All right. So Stanley and Varel invade the bridge with their presence. As they walk in, you see Captain Solania, caramel-skinned elf with brown hair, clutching his side. He has had a wound from a cutlass in his body. And then you see the attendants at the various computers upon the screen is Captain Tosalt, a glowing blue skeleton that looks like a classic pirate. And he's on the monitor, and he's going, ha, 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 ha. Where's the button for the rockets? He starts looking around.
Do not press that button, lest you fall to our rockets, of which we surely have.
All right, so you haven't premeditated this with the other elves, so I think we'll need some sort of check to see if they communicate this satisfactorily to them. What would that be? Deception. This is a deceptive trick.
Perfect. 13.
Okay. The captain looks at you and holds, and he says, I performed a scan on your ship. Surely there's no rockets on there.
I can make up activities too. Do you wish us to flig your ship?
The elves kind of look at each other, and one of them looks at you and says, just for your information, my dear lizard friend, we unfortunately have no rockets aboard the ship.
Are we able to scan him?
And Tosak goes, ha ha! I heard that there, you lizardy breath face man.
Oh, where are you from if not a planet?
Ha 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 ha! I'm from the high space.
High space. There's multiple forms of space now, Stanley.
My dear skeletal captain, I think you've lost enough people today. You've already tried, and it's cost you nearly everyone you could send our way. Surely testing us will only make this journey less profitable for you.
He looks at you and says, I can't give up. You've killed my Fluffy. And I couldn't live with myself if I didn't avenge her.
If you press on, you will be killing yourself. Make your choice right now. Live or die.
Okay, persuasion roll, please.
Persuasion. It's a 20.
Captain Tosalt looks down at his consoles with his skull face, then looks back up and goes, I agree. You've gotten a cord, but I'm not tucking tail and running away. You'll see me again soon. Real soon. And with that, the communication cuts out, and then you can see this ghost ship, like it literally glows blue as it moves into view and begins drifting away from your ship.
Now, what's the point of talking over a long distance if you're not going to be informative? Who was he? Who was he working for?
Who are you saying?
Anyone?
Oh, the elves. I'm sorry, Vorel. We've never encountered this being before. Our scanners indicate that they came from the surface of the planet. In fact, probably escaped from Principal City before it exploded.
So we do have scanners.
Yes, we do.
All right. Are we able to scan and pick up all those who have ended up outside this vessel?
We've already attempted that. They have passed on and suffocated in the vacuum of space.
Huh.
I do detect them outside of the ship, however, says one of the pilots.
Did your scans give you any information as to what caused the explosion at Principal City?
No, for that, we do have monitoring equipment aboard Alhandar. For that, we'll have to speak to someone knowledgeable about such things once we arrive at the space station. I can tell you the trajectory was from the surface.
Well, I suppose we should go check on Angelashi and the baby. I guess the Goal then is to proceed to Elhandar.
That's where we're headed. And just as she says that, another screen pops open, and this time it looks like another elf with the black, this black garb that they wear, and the elf with long blonde hair appears on the camera and says, "This is Elhandar Station. We're ready to fire. On your command, Captain." Captain, who seems strained, looks to you as if to ask your opinion.
Ready to fire on what?
On the ship that attacked you?
Oh, the Captain Tosalt.
I don't know who's aboard, but it's clearly a hostile intention. They boarded the ship. I see dead elves outside of your ship.
Yeah, sure, blow 'em to hell.
Spooling up phaser drives. On your command, Captain. The captain looks and says, "Fire." And then from the space station, the communication console sort of cuts out, and then you see from the cockpit view in space a large ballistic explosion just go from Elhandar, and a large you can barely see it. You just see it like there's a light attached to it, so you see this light sort of blinking out into space. Lasts maybe a second, it fires out, and then it hits the ship, and it goes, and then the ship implodes into a giant piece of garbage. There's no sound in space, so it just goes and then blows up into just this giant pile of debris. And the captain says, "Shields up!" And just as the shields get raised, the debris starts hitting the ship, but bouncing off of shields of the ship.
I have no idea what's going on.
Does it take a while for those weapons to be available? That would have been actually very useful, quite a good deal earlier.
We were attacked very suddenly. We sent out distress signal to the ship. They responded within the allowable time. We had to hold off until they were ready to assist us.
Well, unfortunately, we lost a lot of people. I'm gonna go check on Nash.
The elves all solemnly agree with you.
Right, turn around and go check on everybody. I guess start moving fire extinguishers out of the way.
Okay, well, you get there and the blast doors are closed. And then there's an elf nearby in the hallway, and the elf looks to you and says, "Let me help you with that," and inputs a code into some kind of panel, and the blast doors go open up, and you just see a pile of flame, a pile of fire extinguishers.
All right, I'll call through. Nash, are you in there?
I'm very frustrated, Nash.
I am. There's more than just me now, though. We got the baby, but then some other unexpected stuff. It's a long story, but I couldn't get out to help you guys. All this shit's in the way.
All right, I'll start moving it.
All right, you start moving it, and you hear, "Ah! Make wall, Varel! Stand
Well done, Bok. It's a good wall.
Come down?
This wall is coming down, yes. A real wall.
Sad.
Not these made up walls that are defeated with math on the wall. I don't like this place at all.
Sad.
Yes, it was a good
sad.
wall. It's a very good wall.
All right, he begins helping to disassemble it and letting you guys get through here. So let me just do that real quick. Make a passage. There you go.
Nash,
Yeah.
hang on. Let me get through the wall first. Nash, these people, they were defeated by vacuums.
I have a feeling it's more complicated than that, but sure.
They're the worst. They have conversations on televisions. And then they blow each other up, even though they could have done it earlier.
What's our current status? How much trouble are we in? I got kids to worry about now.
kids. There was more than one.
Well, it's a long story, but one's been a baby the whole time, but this one here was a fork, but now it's a kid, and this other one was a boot. It's a kid, and then this one was a pipe. Angela, she says they're probably shapeshifters like her, and she says like me, but I don't know if I'm ready to buy that yet.
Well, you look at Angelashi right now, and at the end of last week's episode, she's changed form and is no longer shaped like an elf. She has green skin, gray skin, rather, straw white hair, cat-like eyes, Preston nose, and sharper teeth. And she has 4 little versions of herself, scooped up and bundled in her arms, and they all have Nash's little red eye affectation. Where they have an eye, but they all are colored very, very red, and there's a little glow to them, even as babies.
Oh, at least we can find them in the dark.
Do I recognize these this form as a race in the world?
You've never seen a shapeshifter before,
okay.
So you don't recognize it.
Okay. I will sort of stand there looking nonplussed, like I don't quite know what to do about any of this. Because Nash wouldn't know what to do.
And remember, she also said you were one.
Yeah. But I'm not.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Angelashi, you're not actually an elf, then?
She looks and she says, "No, I'm sorry for the deception, but my kind, I do not have it easy throughout on Earth. I had to hide who I was in Trashburg in order to sing for my supper, so people wouldn't try to manipulate me and exploit me or mistrust me for being able to just being what I am. But then I met Nash, and now I have these beautiful children." And she kisses each of them on the head.
And you're saying Nash is a shapeshifter too?
Aye.
Well, Nash, why the hell do you choose to look like this, then?
I didn't know I was one. I'm still not sure I am. I don't get it. Is this my normal form? Do I look like my little gray lizard kids, or what happens? How do I know?
Well, you're not quite 100% Nash of a shifter. I don't know exactly what you are, but I know that you are a shifter.
Well, I've turned into a dragon, but that's the only thing I know of. And I got this little baby hand, and it raises its hand.
Remember that first night after the Chinese food and the singing at the Golden Gargoyle?
Yes. How could I forget?
You remember that something special happened between us?
Yeah. I remember. There was a plant.
You always say you made a plant.
Do you two need to be alone right now?
They're talking about fluid exchange.
Don't leave. Stay for this.
I
Why?
I don't think this is pertinent information that we need to hear.
I'm not going to go anywhere bad with it. I'm just going to say, well, Angela, she then says next, "That was not me. That was you. I brought it out of you."
I still don't want to be here.
Wait, you're saying I made my own?
Nope, definitely. We're gonna
Yes.
go check on other people and
Bach,
see.
Bach.
You asked the question.
Stanley's walking out of the room and checking on folks.
So am I some kind of plant creature? What am I?
There's some part of you is made up of shifter. There's no denying it. I can see it there. I don't know what your story is or where you come from, but I've always felt that you're special, Nash.
Is this why you were attracted to me in the first place? Because you felt like I could change into shit like you can?
It's so hard to find another changeling like myself in order to be happy and have kids. There's no one. You're the only person in the entire planet or my entire universe even remotely close to what I would call my people.
Do the other Nashes know this? The Time Barf Nash and all the other Nashes? Or do you even know?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Lord. All right, and I'm going to stop, hold my hands up, close my eyes real tight, and try to turn into a man-sized frog.
Okay.
Because I'm overwhelmed with frustration about this news, and I want to see if I can force something to happen. So I'm going to go...
I'm overwhelmed with emotion. I must become a frog.
Let's try. Let's see here. An arcane. Well, I mean, what do you want to? How do you want to do it? You're just going like.
I don't have a spell. I don't have a spell to cast or anything that does this. I'm trying to see if I can bring it out of myself just by concentrating.
No,
and
you don't know. You don't know any new abilities or things that you don't already know.
All right. Well, I'm going to grunt and do that until I stop breathing and until I just sort of almost pass out and fall on my butt, and I'm sad now that I can't just make it happen.
Okay. So you're now on your butt.
I'm on my butt,
making a bunch of noise.
Yes.
Angela, she looks at you and she says, "Please, I asked you not to hold this secret against me. You have to understand how hard it is to tell people. Even you. I didn't want you to feel like I betrayed you. I lied to you, but I didn't want you to feel like I betrayed you."
But why did you not tell me in the first place? What was the harm? There would have been no harm that night saying, "Hey, guess what? You're a shapeshifter. Make a plant penis. Go." Like, you didn't do any of that. You led me to think you were magical or something, and I don't know. Now you're a white lizard. This is weird.
When you spend so much time being another person and not the person that you are, you grow accustomed to it. And I had been in that form for a very long time in Trashburg, almost all of my life. It's complicated how it makes you feel. I'm sorry, Nash. Please, don't be angry with me.
I'm not mad. I'm just confused. Are you sure those are my kids?
Yes. You're the only man that I've been with.
Does your kind always have 4 of them?
No, I'm as surprised as you. Nothing, in the short time that I knew my parents, they never prepared me for these things.
Are 3 of the 4 babies always random objects from your house?
My parents passed before I could ask them questions like this. I have no idea. I've lived as an elf.
I don't have any more questions.
Well, come here and give me a hug, or come here and hold me.
Change back into the woman I fell in love with, not lizard form.
Muriel will cough. I think it's time to feed the babies now.
And then you get a cold look from Angelashi.
I do.
And she looks to Lyriel and she says, "I want him to leave."
Yes, clearly Nash is very hungry. Yes, Nash, please, go see your friends right now.
All right, I'm out.
We will feed the babies.
All right, I'm out.
I'll be out here. I'm leaving, and I'll just leave.
Oh my god. Okay. All right, you leave the med bay, and the med bay closes the doors up. Jesus Christ. It was rough. Okay.
It's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time. So wait a minute. Am I by myself then, out in the hall?
Yeah. Well, there's some elves in the hallway, but no one's talking to you.
Are they looking at me?
There's some glances cast in your direction.
What are you looking at?
One of the elves goes, "Pardon me."
Yeah, you're looking at me. Quit looking at me. You got nothing better to look at? Take a picture. It'll last longer.
The 2 elves, there's 2 elves. One elf that you're talking to is near another elf, and they both kind of look at each other, and They sort of nod understandingly, and they agree not to look at you. They stop looking at you.
All right. I will just stand still outside the door, stoically.
A voice over the intercom is, "All right, please find a seat. We will be landing in Elhandar in 3 minutes." And then the intercom goes off.
All right, I guess I go look for a seat. Where are seats in this thing?
Where are seats in the map? Yeah, they're not really depicted in the map, but you can see that there are places to sit on the opposite end of the rear exit. There would be places in the rear room. The mess hall has tables that you can sit at, and there's like behind the mess hall. There would be bunkers or like bunks to lie in. And there are pull-out seats in the hallway that you're in. So you see these little square tabs. You see some elves start to pull out the seat and buckle up. So you can grab a seat pretty much anywhere in this hallway as well.
All right, I'll sort of take the cue of what's going on and pull out a seat and sit down in the hall.
Nash, you see Stanley doing this. He's not far down the hall.
All right, I'll go. It's a stupid seat. And I yank it out of the thing and throw it back into the pound it as loud as I can. I sit down and.
Are you doing all right, Nash? I thought you might be a little happier on this day.
Well, I was hoping so. There's a lot of work to get back here, but guess what? She's a lizard, and all the kids came out like utensils and then turned back into lizard kids. This is all, and she says I'm one of them. That doesn't make any sense. I've been a human for as long as I know, and other than the dragon bit and the weird heart I have, this is making no sense. I didn't get the memo, and I'm pissed.
Nash, let me put this as politely as I can. You are the ugliest human being I have ever seen in the history of all of my travels, and I have seen people who have baked under the wasteland sun for weeks without water. And somehow, that woman in there thought you were the greatest human being known to man. Enough to marry you.
But it sounds like she didn't
know.
It
wasn't because of how you looked, I promise. It was because of who you were.
Yeah, but
and now
that's
you're
not
going to judge her on the same merits that she's decided to overlook for you?
You just said it. You said I was a worthy human being. I'm not a human being, apparently. I'm some kind of lizard shapeshifter thing.
What does that change about your day-to-day now?
I don't know. What if someone told you were an ogre and you just were made to look like an elf or a half-elf? How would you feel?
And I'd count myself lucky as the most handsome, good-looking ogre that ever graced this world.
Well, great. I'm the ugliest shapeshifter that ever graced this world.
Nash, have your feelings about Angelashi changed?
They've changed a little because of this. Well, because she lied. I don't like liars. I just need some time, damn it. I need to decompress. Think this out. Sort it out in my head. I watched a fork fly out of her vagina. What do you expect from me? You weren't there. It was horrible. There was a boot. We had to pull it out the rest of the way. None of this was natural.
I have no doubt that it was terrible, but you have a family now. They need you more than you need the time to decompress. I suggest you use this landing to sort yourself out and then go be there for the people that are counting on you.
Fine, I say, and look petulant as I sit there and not look at Stanley anymore.
All right, give yourselves both inspiration, please.
Nice.
Oh, did that show up on the mic?
Oh yeah, it was beautiful. Beautiful.
I like that.
There's an elf nearby, and he's just making himself tea. Like he has a portable tea maker while he's strapped in for landing.
Sounds like an elf.
He's just making a tea while you guys are having this personal conversation. Yeah. There's just a guy making his.
Just watching it.
This is an elf who's like.
It's like 2 things I love in life: landings and drama.
Yeah.
All right, and with that, you can see the cockpit. The cockpit doors are open, so you can see in the front view now is this giant space structure. It seems to be made of 3 components, and the components appear to be connected. And the two that you can see is you see one really long cylinder-shaped kind of component to the space station, really long, filled with lights, looks very technological, and you can see inside this. The exterior has a lot of glass in it, so you see plants and you see elves on many floors walking with clipboards and talking in all kinds of rooms. You can see that from the exterior. And the other thing you can see is a giant globe-shaped thing, and the globe is encased almost entirely of glass, where the floor is and below seems to be not see-through, and you see a large, lush forest inside. Through it's space, but inside there's just all these trees and greenery and all this more forest than you've ever seen in your lives as desert-dwelling, planet lovers. There's a ton of just trees and foliage coming from this giant dome, and then it disappears from view very quickly as the ship appears to pull into a hangar, and then you hear a and the ship sort of locks into place to something. And the elves begin taking off their seatbelts, and they begin making their way to the back and disembarking from the ship.
They leave through doors, or like a ramp, or
There's a ramp at the back door, and as you guys are sitting there, Bok and has chunks. He's carrying chunks with him, and Bok looks to you, Varel, and he says, "Bok, find home."
Sure.
He walks out with the elves. So the elves are all walking out, and Bok's making his way out too. The elves carrying chunks.
And can we tell where we've landed?
No, you have to exit the ship. Would you like to exit the ship now?
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'm gonna ask the nurse what she wants me to do.
You want to ask Dr. Lyria or one of the other 2 attendants? I get that you're calling her a nurse. I want you to preserve that RP. It's great.
I'll call her.
I just want to know if you're talking to Kristen or not.
I'm talking to Kristen's character, and I'll ask, what do you need me to do? I don't know what to do. She doesn't want me in there, but I don't think I should leave.
Well, from my conversation with her, it sounds like both of you made mistakes. So what we need to do now is realize where it went wrong. You need some time still, clearly, and then we can talk.
Okay. So, should I disembark and hang out for a bit, or what?
Yeah, Lyriel, you with everyone disembarking, I think probably the thing to do would be to get Angelashi, into a better facility in the ship. So that could be something that I think that your group's doing. Your 2 attendants have started to prepare everything, and they push a button on the bed, and Angelashi's just floats. Like the cushiony part is like detachable, and they push a button, and she just starts floating in the air with her her babies all curled up in her hand, and one of the attendants can push the floating panel, like the floating bed, out. That's just how it's done around here.
We will let you know which room we settle in. But
right.
Stay with your friends right now, yes.
Okay. You call me the minute anything happens, or I need to be there.
Oh, you should be here right now, but as things go sometimes, you probably shouldn't.
All right, I'll give her space. Just, I'll be around, and I'll leave.
All right.
And go find
So,
Stanley.
Nash, you begin making your way out. Pharrell, Stanley, do you follow?
Yeah, we'll go with.
Yep.
Perfect. So the 3 of you are last to leave, apart from those attendants in the med bay, Lyriel and Angelashi. And as you disembark, you're greeted. There's this large hangar bay. It's very sparse, black. There's green glowing lights and various vertices of the structure. And the elves begin, sort of group. They begin filing rather orderly from the hangar to a set of stairs up, and then to a door. You're greeted by an individual, looks well decorated. He goes, "Hello, new visitors, yes?"
Yes, I would suppose so.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Admiral Chrysorious. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Welcome aboard Elhandar. If you would come with me, there are many people who would like to meet you.
All right, lead on.
Perfect. Just as a word of precaution, we have a method of transportation that is quite unusual here on Space Station Elhandar. We call it the Rainbow Road, but essentially we traverse by way of rainbow energy throughout the space station. So just be sure not to flail your arms or move too violently through while you traverse Rainbow Road. It can cause it to become unstable and cause a myriad of problems. Is that understood?
Stanley will look back at Pharrell and go, "No thrashing, no flailing, but be ready for something weird."
Yes. Very good. And he begins to ascend the stairs. Please follow me, and we'll take you to meet our leader.
All right, I'll follow him.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll fall behind.
Perfect. All right. So, so I saw that I had a message for myself in Slack, and it distracted me, so I had to look.
Oh yeah. I just got
Apparently
this
I look
text
like
from
a CSI guy.
Yeah, I got a text
anyway.
from Brian Ebbett, and he says your shaved face. Now you look like that guy from CSI.
That's great.
Yeah.
That really distracted me. All right. So the as you ascend the top of the stairs, you see these doors open up, and there's like this device, and there appears to be this rainbow energy kind of shooting through it. And as you approach closer, you see that like the device is actually a tunnel, but it's like this piece on top of it, this paneling, and you just see kind of like a constant sort of beam of rainbow energy. And you see the elves, as soon as they step into the rainbow, they disappear to the left. They just go whoop, 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 as they enter into Rainbow Road and begin traversing through it. It's quite strange looking.
Where does that
The
go?
Admiral-
I ask to anyone who'll answer me.
Admiral Chrysorious turns around to you and he says, the Rainbow Road will take you to any number of locations throughout the station. It is not used often because as most of our people either spend time in the Cadulet or the Biodome or perhaps the shipyards, but if long distance traversal is required, this is the most efficient manner in which to traverse. Please step in. I have it already configured for where you need to go.
All right. I'll get in.
Just out of curiosity, have I hit the exhaustion point with the pills yet?
It's coming,
Okay.
but not this second.
All right. All right, I'll walk into this Rainbow Road.
All right, you walk into this Rainbow Road, and everyone watches Stanley just like go left, disappear. Stanley, it feels like your vision becomes just a pile of lifesavers or Jolly Ranchers. Like it just, your eyes just become filled with color and shapes for a split second, and then all of a sudden, you find yourself at a different terminal. I'm just going to see if Varel and Nash also want to participate in Rainbow Road.
Yeah, I'll get in.
Okay. Yep. You guys enter into the rainbow, and the rainbow, you see these fantastic colors and crazy shapes for all of a second, and then you find you're walking out the other side exactly where you think you needed to be. Behind you, Admiral Chrysorious steps behind and says, "See, nothing to be afraid of. We have great
How
marvels."
far have we traveled in that moment?
Who's afraid?
Oh, I was anticipating perhaps there was some trepidation with respect to the Rainbow Road, as it might be very technologically advanced for you.
Well, assuming you're telling the truth about where it goes, then that's fine.
Well, we are here, and he turns around to walk down a passage, and he turns around the corner, and then he motions for you all to see what's around the corner.
He thought that would be weird.
We
We've
teleport
traveled
all
via
the time.
banana.
It's a good point, Varel.
Yeah.
Never forget
Probably
the banana.
not the weirdest way we've actually traveled. Maybe
No.
even today.
What do we see around this corner?
All right, so you guys, Nash first follows around the corner. Do you peer around the corner or do you walk around the corner?
I would be kind of hesitant, so I'd sort of peer-ish, kind of do this.
You peer around the corner and you see that this is if you think of Deep Space Nine, but don't think of what that looks like. But it's like a walkway on the side of a space station. So on one side you see a giant. It's nothing but windows on the exterior, so you just see space. Just this giant wall of windows, and on the other side you see paneling. You're not quite sure what it is, but you see that there are different levels of walkway. So it goes up seemingly forever, like at least 8 floors of walkway, and then there's like these places to view down, like over the terrace. If you think of a shopping mall with multiple floors and how you can look down on other floors, maybe like it has that staged level. So you see this great hallway, and you see that on the ground floor and on each of the floors, what must be literally every elf in this place, all standing there waiting. The other striking thing about this view is that even though there's a soft glow from panels and lighting, all along the halls here, it's lit by candlelight within the space station. So there's this warm, rich glow to everything that gives it like an 1800s or early 1900s photography kind of feel, like a theater lit by candlelight. This room is apparently there's candles adorned like everywhere. It would be such a task to keep all these things lit as you think, as you see all this candlelight. And you see all the elves waiting for you on various stages, thousands of them. The Admiral says, please.
All right. We'll continue to follow.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Admiral, what's the deal with all of them? They seem to be... It's a lot of elves seem to be paying a lot of attention to us.
And the Admiral walks out, and as he walks out, it becomes a bit of a stage. Like there's an area on this ground floor, on the lowest floor, where there's space for you to just stand and be observed by the people. And the Admiral turns to you and says, "These are the elves of Elhendar. They've heard about your accomplishments. They know who you are, Stanley. And they know who Nash is. And it is a great honor for both of you to be aboard the ship."
It's a great. What about Varel? Why no Varel on your list?
We've not encountered Varel, but he is most welcome as a hero as well.
Surely you've heard tale.
When did you encounter him?
Well, no, sorry. We've heard of Varel. I mean, we've been to Razak Val. We know of what's occurred there.
Oh.
But we've had chance... My many pardons, Varel. I did not mean to exclude you from the glory of this introduction. And he looks around at the other elves. Just simply that we have a storied history relating to both Nash and Varel that we don't have with you, but we look forward to learning about you and forging the fires of those friendship with you. I'll let the High Elf explain more. And with that, he turns and to the crowd of elves who are standing there solemnly. They're standing there. It's a little unnerving, but these are elves. They're not being exuberant at the moment. They're observing. But in particular, you turn around and you see that the crowd of elves on your floor opens up a bit, and then there's an elderly elf in a wheelchair that floats, but it floats on a mass of water. So the water kind of moves around, and the chair floats along with it. And the chair glides over space with water underneath it. And he approaches the three of you, and he says, "Greetings. Welcome to Elhendar, heroes. I'm glad to see all of you. What was that question you had asked? Was there a open question that he's supposed to dramatically answer? I can't remember.
I started, but then he was just like, the high elf will explain, so I stopped.
The high elf is here.
Okay.
He says, "Welcome to Elhandar."
Thank you for such a warm, if not slightly uncomfortable welcome. How is it that all of you know Nash and I?
There are many questions. Some I will answer. Sorry, I was old. There are many questions, and some I will answer now, but some can wait until you've had a rest. I can see, even from your faces, that you're weary from your journeys, and that you perhaps took some of our pills without prior conditioning that will also take effect soon. I was debriefed before a talk, but yes, my child Stanley, welcome home, he says to you. Please take my hands, and his wheelchair floating on water.
You're Stanley's dad?
That's what I was thinking.
For real? Like you're his dad?
Are you saying this stuff?
Yeah.
Everyone's a dad now.
All right. He ignores you. He ignores you and approaches Stanley. Stanley. He reaches out his hands.
Thank you again for welcoming us. And yes, rest would be quite welcome. And I'll reach out my hands diplomatically.
Okay. Do you take them? He has them out like this, like as if for you to take them.
Yeah, I'll put my hands out, like, palm down. I don't know what he's looking for.
Right. So he takes them and he puts his thumbs on the back of your hands, and he closes his eyes and he goes, home. And as you do that, you are descended into a trance. Do you attempt to fight it, or do you let it happen?
I think Stanley would probably initially fight it.
Okay, make a saving throw, please.
What kind?
Sorry, make a. I have to look it up. Sorry, one sec. Make a wisdom saving throw, please.
It's a 12.
Okay. The elf says, Stanley, please don't fight what I have to share with you. This is how we share memory.
Yeah, it's also how I've run into trouble before. You're not the first person that decided to do a little mind manipulation on me, so I'm a little hesitant.
He retracts his hands and says, I respect your discomfort and will not pressure you to do anything you don't want to do. Perhaps we can speak again when you're ready for some answers. The Elves of Elhandar welcome you all, and we have prepared a domicile for you to rest in the biodome. You need to know of the laws of this land. There are but two. One is that it is required to have a therapist assigned to you. We will bring you that information soon. The second is Elhandar first. We have been here since the scorching, and we have worked tirelessly to restore order and stability to this dying planet. This planet became so uninhabitable before the scorching that we had to construct this space station to continue our work. And here you are aboard 1,000 years of technological advancement. And the will of the elven people. Their strengths, cooperation, and fine refinement in how they are tuned with nature itself. It is good to have all of you aboard. I look forward to many more conversations about the future of our planet.
How big are these rooms? I'm going to need more space here.
What rooms? I assure you, there's plenty of space.
We call them domiciles. I call them rooms, and they're in the biodome, and I've got a wife and 4 kids. I have to fit in there.
There's plenty of room for all of you, I assure you. The forest is large. Larger than you think.
Fine.
And with that, a dark swirl begins to coil around behind him. And within an instant, a giant gaping portal filled with blues and purples and stars comes shooting out, and the principal walks through. Cling, 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 uninvited, surprising the entire room. Giant metal body, all silver, 10 rings, 5 rubied rings on each finger, a large glowing gemstone in his forehead, and different in appearance than the last time. It appears through the metal of the chrome. You can see glowing blue veins, and they're glowing and powerful, and his eyes and mouth appear to glow blue with this giant this glowing color. And he walks in to the room and he goes, "Greetings, people of Elhandar. Greetings, heroes of the wastes. I come bearing tidings." And that's the break.
Oh, man. All right. You heard him. I will tell you shortly.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like...
No, you're good. We are back, everybody. We're recording and we're back. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So you're now in this large chamber, space station-like, with many floors up, and up, with elves everywhere, observing the event. You can see outer space on one side, paneling on the inside of this hallway. The high elf is before you in a wheelchair floating upon water, and the principal has just emerged through a portal and has addressed everyone.
I ignite my shield.
Yeah, I pull out diplomacy and the megaphone.
All right. The principal sees this calmly, turning to you, and he says, "I come in peace. Put your weapons away. We shall not fight this day."
It's been a very long day. I think we could conclude it with our final battle.
He looks away from you and he looks to the elven people.
How dare you?
And he says, "I am here but to deliver a message. I have a very busy itinerary. You have long refused to help me, and yet we have remained collaborators with the same objective: the rescuing of this long forgotten planet that is my home. At a certain point, it became clear to me that I am the only one willing to do what it takes. And the explosion you recorded in Principal City was not of a demonic origin, but was done by my hand. I have unlocked the secret that you so desperately in all of your offices try to research. But I've found the way. And I have ascended to demigodhood. And he takes his fist up and he like tightens it with all the rings, and it shakes, and he begins growing in size. And he grows into 3 times his size, and his big chrome pecs. That's all you can see as you look up at him. He looks down, although he's eye level with some of the elves in the higher catwalks. He looks down and he says, "I'm here with a message, elves of Elhandar. I'm willing to forego the past if you are willing to forge a future under a master of true might and wisdom." I have discovered the key not only to immortality, but to ascending to godhood itself. And when I attain this power finally, I will remember those who aided me and those who stood in my way. The people of this universe, of Earth, have stood in the shadows, ignored by the rest of the cosmos for far too long. And I will bring our technology and our innovations to bear on the firmament itself. And with that power, we will restore this planet and our cosmos to the glory it deserves. So ask yourselves, Elhandari, has all the work you've done these thousands of years been for naught? Or will they be a part of the cog of the great machine I will build to rectify the errors in creation? And he turns back to you, Varel, and he says, I pose the same question of you. As brothers from the same home, you will have a role to play too. And he lets that hang there. You may respond or choose not to.
You know, for a while, I really had a struggle. Crisis of faith, you might call it. Here we were, people who had made up our minds about you and decided that you needed to go away. And then you showed up with your promises that you were going to make the world a better place and that you were going to listen to reason and help get rid of demons and free our world and all the good in the world that you promised. And I thought, perhaps we were wrong about you. And now you show up with this grandiose display and your big speech. And all of a sudden, I now see you for what you are. Someone grasping at power with no actual interest in the betterment of the world, who it will be so satisfying to see fall.
He's unmoving for a minute. Then his face goes blank. And I mean literally blank. All the features of his face, his eyes, his nose, his mouth disappear. And then as quickly as they disappear, a new face emerges. One you haven't seen before. Gesundheit. Varel. Muted correctly, but your face is very dramatic, and I was like...
It was great.
Anyways, where was I? The principal turns his attention to you, and he reaches a hand in your direction. That's like this. and he begins summoning your body closer to him, Snoke style. Make a wisdom saving throw, please.
And is this a charm effect or anything? Because I have advantage on that. Otherwise,
It's not a charm effect. It's a telekinetic effect.
Okay. 13 on the wisdom save.
Okay. Your body begins floating in the air, and you're not able to control it. And as you struggle to move, your limbs don't move. And he summons you forth. And as he summons you forth, he returns to his original size at the same time, which is still quite large, like 8 feet tall. And his big chrome hand wraps itself around your neck. And then he brings you close, and he whispers in your ear. Varel and Nash, please remove your headphones. I think you should know that your old friend has survived the blast and will be visiting you very soon. All right, headphones back on to everyone else. Unless you want to whisper something at him.
Mm-mm.
Headphones on for everyone else. You see that the principal whispers something to Stanley and then lets Stanley go, and Stanley begins floating back down to the ground. The principal looks around and says, "Make your choice." And with that, his rings light up, and he turns his fist and opens a portal behind him, and he walks backwards carefully, looking around, and disappears through the portal.
What are the other elves doing? Just staring?
They're observing.
Okay.
They're motionless.
What choice?
The high elf looks at you and he says, "The principal is possessed by the notion that he can defeat all enemies. He is willing to do things that are disharmonious with creation. And we are true elves here. We observe the old ways of the Feywild. All creatures return to Earth to fertilize it for future generations. The cycle of life and death must be maintained. The principal is a human, and the humans cannot help their impulsiveness towards greed and revenge. They are confused. And when one human gets too much power, it can destroy the cosmos. We first observed that this was possible with Vladimir when he refused our therapy, which was a condition of collaboration with Elhandar. The elves will meet, and we will discuss our fate. I hope that the three of you can offer some of your wise advice. But for now, there is no danger. I have much to ponder. Please return, or please, Admiral Chrysorious will guide you to your accommodations in the biodome. We have assigned Dr. Lyriel Quilia Harhani Hinu to stay with you and to provide you with guidance on Elhandar. Certainly there are many elves who live in the biodome. In fact, most of us do. I'm sure you can seek out neighbors. The elves of Elhandar believe in the strength of unity. Now go. I have to rest. And the high elf in the wheelchair floats up, and then floats backwards into the crowd as the elves just knowingly move aside, and the high elf begins leaving. The Admiral then turns to you and says, "Follow me back to the Rainbow Road." And he begins walking towards the Rainbow Road teleporter.
Follow.
All right.
Follow him.
Follow him.
Perfect. All right, so you walk back to the, this beam of rainbow, and he steps in, and you step in, and bloop bloop, and there's like Lucky Charms in your vision as you travel to travel down the Rainbow Road, and then bloop 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 bloop, you all sort of emerge in this other technological-looking hallway, and he walks down just 2 feet, not 2 feet, maybe like 6 feet, towards these doors. The doors swing open, and a hot gust of moist, jungly kind of air just like enters in, and you can see in your vision, Varel, nothing but forest outside the doors. Admiral turns to look at you and says, "Come this way, please." And he disappears behind foliage, walking into trees and dense forest green.
Stanley will take a minute. He's, we've run into forest before, but not like this. And kind of feel the plants, feel the ground. Is it dirt?
Let's do a nature check.
Hey, all right. 19.
It looks real. It looks like what you've read about in your dictionary. It looks like how it's been described to you from crazy fools in the desert. This here is an abundance, a cornucopia of plant life not possible on the surface of the planet. It smells wonderful.
Can I detect whether it's magically, if it's just magic, if it's just a trick?
You can use detect magic, or you can, make an arcana check to determine what's going on.
I gotta see what's available to me. Hold on. Let's do detect magic. I assume we're gonna be able to rest before too long, so I will cast detect magic. Whoops.
And targeting the plants or the plant life.
Yeah, kind of just the foliage or whatever. And within 30 feet of me is my range.
Mm-hmm.
And if I learn anything, I'll know what school of magic it is and all that stuff.
So you cast detect magic upon the plant, and the response is confusing. They definitely are not created magically or summoned magically. It is indeed life that you're examining, and you feel the force of life. But the interesting thing is that there seems to be a magic coursing through the plant life, but it's not a malevolent or evil. It doesn't appear to have any motivation. It appears to be health energy, rich abundance of creation and cellular generation and just growth. It just feels like if life could have a feeling, it feels like life.
All right. I'll convey that to my comrades just so they understand that it seems like it's magic, but it's not harmful, and it's not, there's nothing evil going on here.
Sure. Why not? I woke up in a desert dimension full of demons, and tonight I will rest in a room full of plants.
Does appear that way.
I should space them out more. It's wasteful to keep them so close together.
No, you're such a conservationist, Varel.
What?
A conservationist.
I conserve none of my energy. I spend it all.
Yeah, but you seem to be a bit of a nature boy in here. You're embracing this new environment we're in.
There's much we need to discuss. If these Elhandar have been stockpiling the plants that could feed our planet, well, then they are thieves.
I don't think that's what they're doing. I think this is all generated and maintained magically. And maybe they can do this on the surface. We could ask them that, but this isn't things they've taken. They're just making them appear to be what they are. It's a bit of a trick, Varel.
I don't like tricks.
I know. But I can tell you it feels to me there's no harm intended here. It's purely to establish an environment that is, I suppose, pleasing to elves who spring from such places.
Well, what they find pleasing, I find wasteful. They've even filled their air with water.
That's humidity. That's good for your kind, isn't it? You guys like that?
Do we?
Moist air? Actually, I don't know.
Never been in moist air.
I mean, if the things I've read are to be true, this is the way it was everywhere on the planet before. Before the scorching and all of that. It was just this. Except for one place called Arizona. But other than that, everywhere else, it was just this.
I've heard tale of this Arizona.
No, I wish to live in Arizona.
You are perhaps the only creature who should be allowed. That place was an abomination, according to the books I read. No human should have been able to live there, but they had sneaky ways of buying water from over their borders and continuing to survive and live, despite the fact that no human should survive in such a place.
I appreciate your passion, Nash, but we've just learned that the principal has ascended to godhood. I can learn the lore of your Arizonian ways later.
Fair enough.
I'm not the one riding the wicked high, about to crash. Let us find your bedding so you may rest before you collapse.
I don't know what you mean about my wicked high, but I'm all about resting. Let's go.
The Admiral peeks his head back in through the bush and he says, Are you coming? Is there a problem?
Sorry, it's a lot to take in. We don't see this very often.
I understand. Don't let me rush you. I'll just be on the other side of these trees when you're ready to continue. And he puts his head back into the forest.
Just picturing the reverse velociraptor from Jurassic Park. All right, I'll follow him.
Yeah, me too. We gotta get there. We gotta get her.
Stanley, you're first to step through as you push the trees aside, and they're kind of wet and dewy, and they slap on your face, and they smell. Just, if you've been to a forest lately or been to a park, you smell the fresh leaves, grass, nature, just full of it. Rich, so stimulating to your eyes and to your mind. As you step through, you open up a massive panoramic view of forest. You're on top of a cliff as you walk through, not a very high one. You're on top of a cliff, and there's these steps made out of like just elven crafted wood. Like, it looks old, but also just immensely beautiful. Like the way the railings are carved, there's like dragons and you know, faces of elves and things like that carved into these steps that move down this cliffside. But because you're on a cliffside, you get this massive view of endless forest everywhere, and you see that there's a few bodies of water, and you see that even though it was dark and space stationy, once you entered into this forested area, a bright sun shines down upon the forest, and there's a few clouds in the sky that you look up and see. And the Admiral, walking through tall grass, remember, none of this is maintained or cut. It's all natural growth. You know, he begins walking in his black, you know, Mass Effect looking spacesuit. He walks towards the stairs, and he begins, you know, lightly hopping down like an elf, not making any noise. Just moving down the set of stairs. And there's a path that leads into a forested area, and he looks back and he says, "This way." And one of the other things, features that you do see from here is that some of the trees are very, very tall in the distance. You can see them. And you see that in the trees, there are houses, in the trees. That there's a civilization of elves that live here, and they clearly have made houses in the trees.
All right, I'll continue to follow.
Okay, so everyone follows the Admiral Chrysorious down the set of stairs and down this pathway, and this is gorgeous. Picture the most beautiful walk with trees hanging overhead. As you walk into this forested area, the sun begins to get blocked out, and you're in the shaded forest, and there are trees everywhere, and you can hear like a breeze blowing through. And when the breeze blows through, you hear this of leaves, and it's completely unnerving because the desert is very quiet, almost deathly quiet, right? So Varel, in particular for you, this is masking a lot of predatory sounds that you're used to hearing. There's noise freaking everywhere in this forest. And you hear a shh. And then as you walk by, you think you hear and you hear the sounds of nature. Like, you can tell, Varel, that this forest is densely populated with all kinds of critters, animals, and you hear their sounds as well. After a few moments walking down the path, it doesn't take very long, it opens up into a clearing. And in this clearing, you see a 2-story cottage, not painted, it's made from logs. And there's a chimney, and smoke is coming from the chimney. And there's a small lake, very small one, and there's a wharf out onto it. Looks cottagey. And it bears the markings of looking a little more human than a little more, elf-style houses. And at the front door, as the Admiral Chrysorious walks towards this building, you see that Dr. Lyriel, yeah, I'm saying it right, is actually standing outside the front of this cottage, waiting for you.
Welcome.
The Admiral turns to you and explains, "We've prepared some accommodations for you. These are some Earth-like dwellings from the past, so that the more human side of you feel comfortable. Angelashi is inside, Dr. Lyria?"
Yes, and she will inform us when she's ready to see visitors.
Very good. And then you spy Bok. There's a sound of like things falling over, and then you see Bok going, "Ah!" And he's in the shed towards the back, and it seems like he's playing around with the equipment in the shed in the back. And Chunks is in the window, sort of looking with his face like. Now, Lyriel, I know last week you tried to explain that you had a familiar every time Chunks was talking, but then I kept saying it was Chunks, and you're like, "It's my familiar," but I completely missed it all week.
No, it worked great. It's totally fine.
Okay. Do you want to have your familiar here just so that we can continue?
Yes, it's always riding on her shoulder unless she sends it away. It's a little white mink with red eyes, and its name is Acorn.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Should have named it Stinky, because I live by a real life mink farm, and it reeks.
A mink farm? What?
Yeah, there's a mink. Well, it's not that far or close, but it's like 20 minutes south. Giant mink farm. They raise minks. They make mink oil from I guess it's not so much for coats anymore, and it freaking reeks like nothing you've ever smelled in your life. You want to die around a mink farm. Anyway, go ahead.
This happens in Nash's mind. Nash is just silent, but his mind is like. And the Admiral Chrysorious looks to you and he says, "Thank you, Lyria. I'll leave them with you. We should be sending some attendants along to help you with firewood and to maintain the place. You are our guests. Also, one of my colleagues should be by, or perhaps Dr. Lyriel herself knows which therapist you'll be assigned to. And keep in mind that attendance with the therapist is voluntary. You don't have to go, but you have to have one assigned to you. And, of course, if you should wish to meet with them, Lyriel will know how to do so. We can communicate through our radio devices."
Just curious, what are these therapists for? What do they do?
Yes, you might not have encountered such a thing before. Before the scorching, at the height of human civilization, the humans of Earth had uncovered all of the science behind how our brains operate. Do you know what a brain is?
I do.
You're
We all-
asking the wrong fella.
We all we all have them.
The
We
elf
all-
chuckles.
We all have them in our heads.
Sorry, can I a quick second because I need a note from you, John. What was your non-elf name again?
My what?
Wait, no, sorry, your other name. Have you shared that or no?
I don't think I've ever told anybody.
Then can you DM it to me because it's about to get said.
Yes, let me send it.
Oh, this is a big moment.
Yeah, sorry, I should have been more prepared. I kind of ruined it, but whatever.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so he says, that was quite a funny remark, Valir Ornath.
Valir Ornath? The hell is that? Stanley.
Where did you hear that name from?
We know who you are. You were scanned in upon the ship upon your first arrival. You are a genetic match to the Ornath family. You're in the record books. That's how we know that you're home. Please do not feel threatened. It's a lot to take in.
Hey, Varel, check it out. Stanley had another name and never said shit.
He's gonna be a king, isn't he?
Oh, like we haven't had enough of that.
I'm not going to be a king.
Queen
Sure
Hope.
about that?
King Stanley, Queen Hope.
Yes.
Everyone has new names.
Gentlemen, Elhandar knows no king. The High Elf is a spiritual leader, but he can make no commands of us that we don't wish to follow.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of this.
I bet you they kill whoever's in the chair and ride it around and become king, but they don't say they're king.
That's positively barbaric, Pharrell. That is not what occurs here.
Well, it is surprising to hear that name, but for now, Stanley will do fine.
My apologies for...
Oh, no, don't be sad. My real name is Flingus Fartfeather.
No, not you too, Nash.
Sorry, I haven't told anyone about my other name that I have. So call me Flingus from now on, or Mr. Fartfeather. It's fine.
Fine. Stanley, what is your name again?
Stanley, you just used it.
I want to hear the other one.
My real name is Valir. Valir
Valir.
Ornath.
Well, which is it? Oh, Ornath, not Ornat. Okay.
It's
Silence, Fartfeather.
Stanley.
Holy shit.
Oh my gosh. That was great.
All right, now you get an inspiration for that, 'cause that was pretty good.
He hasn't spent the last... Oh, wait, no, that was Nash the God.
Yeah.
Look, it's just a name. I've gone by quite a few. Stanley is what I go by right now. It's how you all know me. It's how I know myself. It's just not the name my parents gave me.
So this is an
Admiral,
Oh, go ahead.
what is our plan here?
Your plan for now is to rest, to get better. We understand that you've had quite the adventure, and you require a safe place to recuperate. We also have no doubt that you have a great story to tell, and we are most interested in hearing it. And finally, we are overjoyed to have one of ours return. There's a great sadness for the Elhandari when one of ours decides to leave, as our people are very committed to one another. But we recognize that some desires cannot be found, fulfillment for some desires cannot be found within Elhandar. And so sometimes elves take a journey outside. Space is hostile, so there isn't much place to go but the very dangerous earth beneath us.
Are you suggesting that my father chose not to live here? Chose to live where he did?
Your father was a great man, a valued member of the Elhandari.
How many names did he have?
One, quiet.
I did not know him very well, but I've seen him before. You recall that elves live for much longer than our human counterparts. From what I know, Daliet was not satisfied with the way science was stagnating. He had a vision for Elhandar, and he presumed to lead our people in a direction they were not yet ready to go in. I don't know why he left, but if he left, it's because he had a reason to. The Elhandari do not quit Elhandar easily, but it does happen. Is your father still with us?
No, he isn't.
May I ask, where has he been put to rest?
I don't know. Somewhere out in the desert. I don't think he even received a proper burial. I doubt it.
Do you know what that means?
Not exactly.
Have you not encountered elves who expire upon the surface of the planet?
Well, we had heard that... I had heard that when an elf dies on the surface that they don't actually die, but that seems odd to me.
It's a symptom of the corruption that the humans of Earth many, many years ago brought with them when they brought their demon companions to help bridge the gap between their science and the ultimate knowledge of the universe. Yet we elves know this, the Ansie's answers already. But we pitied the humans, and we saw the destruction they were making. We came to help them. They asked, and we agreed.
So you're saying that he's still alive? Possibly.
Not alive. In pain. If he has expired on the surface, his soul has nowhere to go in the corrupted soil of that land. There is no life in the soil of this planet. The elves here have brought a part of the Feywild with them. When we learned that we couldn't expire upon the planet's surface, in addition to other serious consequences, we created a sanctuary, this biodome, where elves can expire and pass into the earth and fertilize the spirits of future generations with their knowledge and their experiences. We should speak. We should find out where your father is and bring him home so that he can rest.
I mean, that's what I would want for him, but I don't have any idea where to even look. I don't know where I grew up. I was very young when I was taken.
It's not something we'll solve in an hour. Let me tell you, maybe make a deal with you. you sit here and get proper rest. Submit yourself to the things you don't understand about this place, the therapy. Go for a hunt in nature. We are primal beings. We are not all condescension and arrogance. We are in tune with nature. We live in nature and we hunt. And you may find doing these things and getting in touch with your inner elf might strengthen you and your mind. If you do that, I will have my team scour the surface of the earth and see what we can find for you. We have technologies you can't even imagine here.
Stanley just nods.
Very good. Admiral looks to you, Dr. Lyriel, and he says, they're all yours.
Thank you, and welcome everyone. It's good to see you all again. What would everyone like to do? We can go into the cottage, have a nice supper, hunt, chop wood. There's plenty to do.
Well, it has been a strange and exceedingly long day. I think I would like to rest.
Oh, certainly. Let me show you to your room. And Lyriel will lead Stanley into the cottage and up to one of the second-story rooms while
So the
Chunks
cottage-
screams in the window.
Yeah, the cottage is quite large, and there is a room upstairs where Angelashi is with the kids, and you're aware of that. And there are rooms for each individual. On the
Here
second
is your room, Stanley.
Yeah, and the main floor would be, it has a common dining area for you and a kitchen area, and then a socially, like, sit-down cottage kind of everyone can have a drink and chat area.
It smells like freshly baked apple pie.
Mm-hmm. Nice touch. By the way, since we gave everyone inspiration, I want to give Kristen some too. It's for last week. It's kind of delayed, but it was awesome. And yeah, I've been handing it out like candy, so I'm just like, you deserve it too. Why? These schmucks deserve it. You deserve it. All right.
I'll take it.
Stanley is going to basically just collapse on the bed. I figure the pill effect has to be wearing off soon, and
Yeah, I was waiting for some comedic timing on that. That's why. But yeah, I was waiting for somebody to be like, "I'm going to climb a tree," and to be like, "It kicks in." Anyways, yes. You all right? You make it to your room and you crash in the bed.
Lyriel will tuck you in. If, like, your limbs are hanging off the bed, she'll put them on the bed. She'll tuck you in, and then she'll shut the door quietly and then head back downstairs to Varel and Nash. What else would you like to do?
What's for food?
Oh, well, there's fresh apple pie. Oh, yes, you can hear the baby in the window. He loves to make noise. A fresh stew, baked bread, whatever you would like.
Stew and bread. That sounds great.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yes, come with me. And she'll lead you into the cottage and sit you down at the table.
Okay.
And she'll fix up a hot bowl of stew and a slice of bread with some butter on the table.
Okay.
While Chuck screams in the window, licking it.
All that food sounds good to him. All right, I'm going to dig in then and eat.
All right, but as you start eating, Pharrell, I imagine you're standing in the living room area. Bok Bok bursts in, and he goes, slapping like a counter. And he's looking at you, Varel, and in Goblin, he's expressed to you, make ceremony for squirts! Squirt ceremony! Why are you not making squirts?
Bok Bok, I have a confession.
Confession?
Yes, a great shameful one.
No!
Yes.
Throw away, shame. Make garbage.
I can't. View my hand, Bok Bok.
He looks at your hand. What are you showing him?
Before the battle, this hand was filled with Squirt's ashes. Then I forgot about it during the battle. And now there are no ashes for Squirts.
And he's yelling this in Goblin. So Squirts, suck you into space.
Or burned up in the fire sword which I made. Either way, what's left of Squirts is in Chunks now.
Oh no!
And we cannot bury Chunks where he is alive.
Make songy thingy.
Yes. Yes, let us sing songs to celebrate Squirts this night. Surely Stanley will be too tired from his drugs to object to a good song.
Have outside.
Yes, I agree. Let us eat outside and think of Squirts fondly and tell Chunks of her many great deeds.
Yeah, and Bok Bok goes to Chunks, who's sort of slapping in the window, and Bok Bok, like, kind of almost in a way you've never seen, like fatherly, kind of picks up the little guy and brings him outside, sort of carrying him. And Bok Bok walks to the wharf.
Very good. Doctor,
Yes, Varel, what would you enjoy?
we would enjoy a fire pit to send off the spirit of Squirts, my manager.
Certainly. Let me go light that fire. This sounds very interesting. Oh, yes. Oh, that's a very talkative child. And will you be requiring song as well?
We will make our own songs, one fit for Squirts.
That sounds perfect. And then she'll walk you to the fire pit and light it up.
Okay, and a great flame. Have you done this magically, Lyriel? Like, or do you do this standard style?
She'll do it with a firebolt, yeah, magically. But she'll snap her fingers, and a magical bouncing ball of firebolt will kind of like do a whirlwind down into the fire, and then it explodes with a little firework and starts.
Beautiful. All right. Bok Bok is standing with Chunks out on the wharf, and he says, "Come! Nash! Nash!"
What?
Yes, Nash.
What?
You knew Squirts well as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, no one is required to attend these. Please don't force
No
anyone.
require! Have to!
Yes.
Okay.
He speaks the truth.
All right. I'm coming.
Well, if they would like to join, they can. But I believe right now Nash is eating.
Wait, we might not be on the show anymore.
Oh,
'Cause,
right. Yeah.
Scott is frozen.
Oh,
Oh,
hold on. That's
Oh, can you still hear us?
yeah, I hear everything. Zoom's just
Okay,
being
it's just
weird.
your camera that's frozen.
You guys are all frozen on your camera. Oh, hold on. Something's
You're frozen.
something's
There we
going
go.
fruity.
Looks good
Are
now.
we still on the show?
Yeah, chat room.
At least all the audio still happened.
Yeah. We're recording. Hold on. Let me just.
Nash, you're being summoned by Bok Bok to participate in Squirts' funeral.
Yeah. I
memorial.
heard all that. I'm okay. That's fine. I'm trying to hold on. I'm trying to reconnect the stream. It's like something went weird. You guys still hear me, right?
Yep.
No problem. Video's fine.
Yeah, it's all good now.
Okay, the only part that's no good on this end is the stream is not letting me end it so I can restart it.
Ah,
Hold on.
you're muted, Kyle.
pardon me. The stream is blinking an emoji with a camera thing. It's trying to be all Kappa funny about the stream not working.
Oh, are they doing that now? Great.
Yeah, they're doing that stuff now.
That's great.
Wow. That's
Why would it-
One
I
of
don't know
these
if
days.
that's more infuriating or less infuriating.
yeah, it's like, hey, you want to be more mad about your tech issues? Here's a meme.
There'll be a line when when this pandemic's over and you're at a football game or something, and you see Kappa on the jumbotron or something, and you're just like, okay, this has gone too far. This is everywhere now.
What's
Well,
weird
the
is
world has come to an end.
OBS thinks that we're still fine, but it won't let me stop the stream to restart it, and it's just stuck in this loop of attempting to reconnect. Hold on.
Can you task manager it and just...
I'm gonna have to. So let's
For
try
me,
it
it's
out.
no longer doing fun Kappa things, so
Yeah, that's an advancement.
Yeah, you've gone full Kappa now.
Oh wait, maybe it's... No, it's still doing it. This sucks. Alright, I'm gonna force quit that.